Hello there, and welcome to my next video for the City of Final Fantasy Opera Omnia, in which we have finally arrived at the Sephiroth Lost Chapter banner, One-Winged Angel. I have been waiting for this since I came back to the game last August. Ever since I saw Sephiroth's Awakening in the Japanese version, I knew that, there was no way that I wasn't going to be pulling for this weapon. Like, I'm seriously, I'm going all in. In fact, okay, so I first started playing this game when it released. I'm actually a day one player, or like more or less day one. I started like way back when, but I was still playing Fate Grand Order at that time as well. I just discovered that this game existed, and it looked really cool, to be honest. Like a mobile game with these kind of graphics. It was like a Final Fantasy fan service game. I was like, holy shit, no way! Like, I'm definitely going to give it a try. And I played from release up until about Eiko's event. And I quit round about Eiko's event because it seemed to me that so much of the game revolved around the co-op, and I wasn't entirely sure how I felt about that at that time, because FGO, it was very sort of single player based, and I liked that. That was kind of what I wanted my games to be. And I'd heard a lot of things about how the co-op was really, like the co-op in this game was sort of like really cancerous and really toxic, and if you didn't play like absolutely perfect, people would start spamming stickers, and it would just be a horrible, hostile experience, because it was still in the scoring system back then instead of tokens. So I was just like, when they released 5-star armors where you could get them through armor tokens, I think it was around about that time, and I was like, there's so many rewards that are gated behind the co-op, and I'm not going to be able to like enjoy this game to the fullest if I don't play it. But that's not something that I want to do. It wasn't something I was prepared to do, so I quit at Eiko. But I knew that Sephiroth was going to be released at some point, and I'd done some calculations, and I was like, I'm gonna return to this game when Sephiroth comes in. Like, he's the one character that is gonna make me come back. And I miscalculated, and I came back at Kuja instead, which was not the worst thing in the world. And the rest is history. I pulled Kuja's weapons. I started actually playing co-op. I got good, and all the rest. It was actually it was pretty fun from then, especially since co-op improved. But I was originally focusing on Sephiroth because Final Fantasy VII was not the first RPG I ever played, but I'm pretty sure it was my introduction to console RPGs as a whole. Like, I think I first played it when I was like 9 years old or something. I'm pretty sure that I played like handheld games and stuff like that beforehand, but FF7 was my first real sort of meaty console JRPG. Like, there was TV adverts on at the time and everything. Like, I saw it advertised, I was like, whoa, that looks cool, like I want to buy that. And like, I picked it up, and wow, it just started a lifelong love of the RPG genre. And ever since that flashback in Calm Town where I saw Sephiroth fighting, like his sword stance was so unique, like his animations, the sound effects, like just everything about the guy just screamed badass. And I was like, holy fuck, this guy is amazing, I want him in my pie. But of course he turns out to be the main antagonist. Well, we knew that because since we escaped from the Shinra building and we said, oh, it's Sephiroth, let's kill the president. Well, technically it kind of was Sephiroth, except it was actually Genova being controlled by Sephiroth. Man, the plot for FF7 was such a mindfuck, like, especially as a child. Like, there was so many things that I didn't quite understand, but like one of my favourite things to do was actually sort of replay the game as I grew up, and sort of I would start to piece it together more and more. And then I read the Ultimania Omega, and then I was like, oh right, okay, like everything falls into place now. I think I finally sussed it out. But that game had a lot of attention to detail. It was a very convoluted plot, I think, but I loved it. But yeah, ever since I saw Sephiroth, I've kind of been like, I'm a shameless fanboy of the guy. Like, he's just, I don't even think he's that good of a villain. All right, don't at me, don't hate me. But I've played a lot of RPGs since then, and I just don't find his character development believable. Like, he starts out as this kind of like heroic figure that feels that he's a bit different, he's a bit special, he's kind of not like everyone else, but he's a war hero, he's idolized by people, and all it takes is that finding out that he was the product of an experiment, like he was born under somewhat unnatural means, and actually, like, he arrives at the wrong conclusion. He thinks that Genova is an ancient, etc., but it's actually the calamity from the skies, and his body is like almost entirely composed of Genova cells. And his father is not Professor Gast, it's Professor Hojo. I'm not sure if he ever finds that out. I think that would just drive him insane, like even more if he did, because he hits the guy. But like, just the heel face turn that he does, the way that he completely flips at the Mako reactor in Nibelheim, like, I just never found it believable. I'm like, okay, you're a product of an experiment, so what? You know, like, it doesn't matter. Real talk, okay? Like, you know, even in real life, no matter the circumstances of your birth, no matter who your parents are, you know, what your sort of background is, who you are as a person, you alone decide that. You know, your life, your decisions and your choices shape the person that you are. You know, your creation, your birth or whatever. Yeah, okay, maybe if people have been adopted, that's not an experience that I've had, and they do kind of want to find out more about their birth parents and, you know, more about where they came from. I can understand that, but that is not all that you are. You know, it's not the be-all and end-all. So I never quite understood why Sephiroth completely went off the deep end. It seemed a bit contrived to me. You know, like even back then when I was younger, it just didn't add up. And I still feel that way now. But like, so as a villain, I actually think that Kuja is one of the best villains in the FF series. Since, yeah, he's a narcissist, he's a bit over the top, but at least he has believable reasons for the thing that he does, you know, like, whether or not you agree with him is a completely different matter, but he has some motivations beyond, like, I've gone insane and evil. But, like, as a badass, as, like, the prototypical FF villain that everyone thinks of, you know, that's gotta be Sephiroth. Like, the guy just has such an immense presence. he's so famous, and like every time, like, I actually played a modded version of FF7 for PC that replaced Cloud with Sephiroth and vice versa, so you would actually control Seph. Like, it was pretty balked because obviously in the flashback he is uncontrollable and he takes 0 damage from everything, so his animations were not designed to be used with other characters. Like, you use any limit break other than Braver and it would fuck up, so I think there was a mod that gave him like summon spells or magic as limit breaks, which was unfortunate, but you know, it was what you had to do. And like, every time he would use an item, his model would glitch out and stuff like that. I always wished that, like, he had a full set of animations. You know, like in FF9, like Beatrix, for example, you know, she feels fully playable because she is for a short period of time. And I think there's a mod that lets her join your party as well. I've not played it. I intend to go back and play that at some point, because Beatrix was another character that you know, is almost on Sephiroth's level of badass, but not quite. Yeah, and there was a fighting game for the PS1 called Ehrgeiz that I discovered. Actually, I was on holiday in Spain, you know, I was in the arcades, and I was like, holy fuck, there's Cloud in a fighting game, I have to go and play that. And obviously my parents were like, no, we came on holiday to get away from that, you played too many games as it is. And I'm like, tough shit, I'm playing it. But yeah, that's all beside the point. Suffice to say that, you know, this is the one weapon in the game that there is no way that I am not going to be pulling. I have almost 300k gems. I've made my way back to 168 tickets after pulling for Lena and Rinoa. As Barrett says in FF7, there ain't no getting off of this train we on, and there isn't. I am not stopping until I get the EX weapon. So, without further ado, let the reunion commence. Sephiroth has awakened. His EX weapon is here. Let's see how badly these draws will treat us. I think they fixed the ticket draw bug as well, so I'm just going to be spamming tickets like from this page, and hopefully it's not going to crash on me, but I suppose we'll find out either way. Like, normally in games like this, like, you know, I do play somewhat for meta. I play for both favourites and meta, really. But I always try and get the highest scores I can when I clear stages, because it's like a... Ooh, first gold. 15 CP. I might keep one of those. You know, having this on like another character, the animation's kind of hilarious. I'm in two minds whether I'll just sell it for the Power Stone. Because I did have an MLB one before, but I sold that. Okay, let's keep going. But yeah, like... Sephiroth is one exception to that. Like, I said it with Beatrix, and I kind of kept up with that, but that's because she really was one of the best picks at that point in time. With Sephi, like, I know that Vayne is better objectively, but I'm actually going to be skipping Vayne because even though I played FF12, I don't have that much attachment to him. Like, I much prefer Ashe and Bash, actually, from that game. And I suppose Balthier. But Ashe was always my main magic user, and I always ended up switching to control her instead of Vaan. So I'm still thinking about pulling for her EX when her rework drops. And she would, funnily enough, go really well with Sephiroth as well. Like, my original team, when I first started looking at this game, I thought I was going to go for, I think, Serah, Ashe and Sephiroth, because they just buff him to a ridiculous extent, and the damage he does should be, like, absolutely stupid. There we go, there's gold number 2. I'm going to tell you right now, the urge to start humming along with this music is unbearable, but I will not subject you to that. I think more of you than that. Oh shit, okay. Nice gold rate here, nice number of power stones. Holy fuck, we are getting a lot of golds right now. They're not the gold we want. There's only one thing on this banner I want, and it's Sephiroth's EX. I've got everything else MLB, but the more golds we get, the more power stones we get, I am not going to complain. And you want to know the worst thing about this? I'm such a glutton for punishment, I'm still considering pulling for Eiko's EX weapon when it drops, because I really like Eiko as well. Even though it would be so much more efficient to wait until they both come around in EX+, I am not missing out on using Sephi, at this stage in the game. There's no way. I've been using his Awakening all day yesterday. It's pretty good, actually. It's only issue that the EX's longevity, but his damage is pretty strong. If you know what to do with him. Especially under Bahamut Summon. Octoslash is just straight up 70k damage, just 9s everywhere. Festival of 9s. I think Rosa goes really well with him because she has such a strong attack aura. But the problem is, in that case, if I'm using Rosa, I'm probably not going to be using Rinoa. Because Lena goes better with Rinoa, but Lena is not quite as good for Sephiroth because she doesn't buff him as much. But when you get his EX weapon, that will change slightly because she will... Oh shit. Man, I remember when these things used to be so hard to get. 35 CPs, now we're just kind of like, oh, that's nice. It saves me from buying it from the token shop. How things have changed. Real talk though, I wish Mako Katana was another Masamune. It does not feel right to not be using Masamune. As soon as we start getting if we start getting weapon skins, which I'm pretty sure in the interview the developer said we will do. Oh fuck, okay. This could be something. I don't think it's the X though. But yeah, if we start getting weapon skins, Sephiroth needs the Masamune, and Cloud needs the Buster Sword. This cannot be changed. Okay, what are we gonna get here? Okay, another 15, that's fine. So many golds, I'm rolling in them. Wonder how long this will keep up. We've only used 20 tickets and we've got 5 golds or something stupid? 6. Not been keeping track. Yeah. Sephi, that's why I was so happy actually when Beatrix released, that her EX weapon was actually Save the Queen. I was kind of worried that that was going to end up being a 15 CP. Oh, come on, don't do this to me. Please. Yeah, there we go. Of course it ends up being garbage. Why wouldn't it? But I guess it was because Sephiroth was released before EX weapons were a thing. I guess characters the new characters do release with their most iconic weapons as being the EXs. Can you imagine that Cloud with the Buster Sword being his EX? That would be interesting. So I won't be too annoyed if I end up having to dip into my gems to get this thing, because we do, you know, like, I have been pretty lucky lately. But if I can get this on tick, oh, holy shit, what's with all these golds? Fuck, man. At least I'm stocking back up on power stones. But yeah, like, I've been quite lucky lately, so like, I don't mind dipping into my gems here, but it would be really nice if I could just like not spend gems. And I could just continue to hoard like indefinitely. Whoa! And I was saying, wow, I haven't even dropped below 100 tickets. I had a feeling, you know, when I saw that loading in the corner of the screen, I had a feeling that tonight was going to be a good night. I'm sorry, that was terrible. But holy fuck, I can't believe I look right now. Oh, I'm so happy with this. This is the one thing that I wanted. Alright, so, I mean, like, I'm going to turn into the second coming of Jet Stingray at this rate. Fucking Ticketmaster. Okay, so that has been my pull video for Sephiroth. And yeah, success in about like 59 tickets. Yeah, okay. Alright, 59 tickets, yeah. So yeah, that's me. That's me finished. If you will excuse me, I have an EX to max out. That being said, thank you everyone for watching, and I will catch you all in the next video. See ya.